other small business owners like myself who struggle to keep up and check every box every single day, you don't have to manually do that anymore.
Hi, I'm Russ, and this is the Memory Makers Podcast, the show that helps you create amazing customer experiences and make more memories. I'm blanking on a jingle, Mike. After the Britney Spears one that we did earlier today, I'm losing it. So we're going to do a little Memory Makers Podcast. So for those of you who are too young to know what that song is, it's My Pony, and go check it out. It's a banger. So it's a little PG-13 for the jingles, but we'll get after it. I'm so excited to talk to our guest today. We are joined today by Laura Zorn of Bravoz. Laura, how are you?
I'm great, Russ. Good to see you.
Oh, it's always fabulous to get to talk to you. I've been really looking forward to recording this episode because you and I have had some chats on, hey, how are operators legitimately finding unique and game-changing tools that start to impact? And with all that's been going on with AI, and you've been a big advocate of this for the better part of 6 months as you've been on this year-plus long journey of getting it focused into your facility, I am thrilled that we can actually shed some light on this, and hey, this is how you can actually move the needle with these types of tools. But for those who don't know, David and Laura are the owners and operators of Bravoz down in Jacksonville. And do you mind just giving us a quick 30-second overview of how long have you guys been open? What was the concept when you started? What's your journey, to today?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yes, absolutely. We started as a trampoline franchise back in 2012, transitioned into a full FEC in 2016, separated from our franchise in 2018 and rebranded as Bravoz Entertainment, who we are now. We are 40,000 square feet of indoor fun, indoor trampolines, rock walls, ninja course, leap of faith tower, fabulous creative works, laser tag arena, mini bowling, laser maze, restaurant, bar. We have a little bit of everything, full arcade as well. We've been doing this about 13 years now, and we love it. Love the industry, love everything about it. Love all the people in it. It's just, it's unlike anything else. I came from healthcare, and it's such a different environment, and it's just so much to love.
Yeah. I when I talk to folks even that are just starting to put together a business plan, and we were a first Google search pop up or something, and they haven't talked to a lot of folks. I said the one thing, depending on where you come from, that is just going to knock your socks off is the vast majority of the people that you get to work with become pretty fast friends of yours because of just the I don't know, it's something about the fact that operators are so geared towards creating a really good guest experience, and the folks that's a true fulfillment and a North Star for them, whether it's the vendors or other operators, we all kind of draw each other in, and it just gets infectious every single time. We are ridiculously lucky to get to do what we do.
There's a common passion amongst all of us, right? Mm-hmm. Whether it's from your side or our side for the guests. And I think that's what makes this environment in this industry just so warm and fuzzy for me.
Yes.
So
yeah. Not that it doesn't have its characters, but that's just the normal.
You can find that with anything.
100%. So today, focusing on how do we make sense of AI and using it, it's my kids are using ChatGPT and yada yada, and we've been dabbling with it to be able to create some marketing email templates or some thises and that's. That's such the surface level where almost that version of ChatGPT or AI is almost like a supercharged search engine, I feel like at this point. And so it's been really hard for me to find an avenue or a venue or a tool that people are using that is legitimately impacting the day-to-day business, whether it's the operations or the guest experience and those kinds of things. And you have been on this path of discovery really forging your own path of like, how do we bootstrap some of this stuff together to make a meaningful impact on the business beyond just the super 101 level integrations with it. So what I'd love to start with is, before AI entered the picture for you, what were some of the biggest operational challenges that you guys were running into that you are now starting to see a positive impact from AI?
Oh my gosh. I mean, pick one. There were many, right? And I think it's inherent when you run a small business, because you have limited bandwidth, right? And you have a small team, and everybody on that team carries a sizable amount of responsibilities, right?
Yeah.
So I would say, to answer that question, our biggest improvement with this has been the events office. Our events office was eating up a significant amount of labor hours, and it really had a lot to do with customer behavior has changed so much. No one wants to talk on the phone anymore. Very few people respond to emails from personal accounts as quickly as they do a professional account. And so we were really struggling in the events office, not only to track our leads, but to connect with the customer, to get the deal closed. But then we also put a lot of work. I'm very focused on our customer experience, right? And that starts well before they walk in the door. So communication with our event hosts, whoever the parent was having the party or the group that was coming in for corporate team building, we spend a lot of time with those people, setting expectations, making sure they understand what they're getting, and confirming details, and trying to upsell food and beverage, right? That's part of the events process of driving revenue. And so what we found was, it really was just becoming a time suck.
Yeah.
And whether we were trying them on the phone and they weren't answering, and sending an email out of Gmail that didn't get answered timely, we would ultimately pick up our cell phone and text them and say, hey, we're trying to get in touch with you about your event. And they would reply right back, right? So that gives you some insight into the customer behavior and the challenges that we were facing with getting a hold of people. And so what we did was we've put in a program called Book More that does have, one of the modules within it is a CRM, and it uses AI to follow up in each column, right? And that does exist in many different CRMs. But this has been built specifically for FEC messaging, birthday parties. And what it does is it's also automated our confirmation process. So the impact has been tremendous, not only in birthday party conversions, Russ. We were on a CRM that was not using automation, and we were converting 50% of our birthday parties on that. We went to Bookmore, we put this automated follow-up in place with people, which included, sharing a link to our catering menu. Hey, here's our menu. Here's what you can upgrade to. We immediately saw a jump to an 80% closing rate on birthday parties leads. We saw a 30% increase in our food and beverage sale by getting something in front of them that they could look at and say, oh, wow, these options are great. Hey, can you add this, right? But they're replying back to us with text message and saying, hey, just add 2 more chicken wing platters, or whatever it might be, right? So not only the increase in the close in sales, the increase in the spend on their party by adding catering options, but the decrease in the amount of labor that I was spending to make all of this happen, because we now confirm every event predominantly through an automated workflow that sends out a message to people with upcoming events. Hey, your event's coming up. Here's what you need to know about it. Here's what we can offer you as far as food and beverage. And what we had is a manual process that was taking 3.5 days of attempting to reach them by multiple avenues. Has now gone to an hour and a half. We are usually fully confirmed for 40 parties on the weekend within an hour and a half.
That's bananas. Like all three. One, congratulations, because that is what the game is, right? Like To go from that 50% to 80% alone, massive. But to then see each of those events individually see a 30% bump. I mean, you want to talk about the compounding effect in real time, but to then be able to do all of that in like 10% of the time is bananas.
So let me tell you where the shocker really came from, right?
Okay.
Is all of a
Hold
sudden,
on. Let me brace myself because
well, so what happens is you have a team in the office that all of a sudden, because you're using automation, and again, we're not just using this for birthday parties, we're using this for any incoming leads, whether it's donation requests, we have a dedicated pipeline for those. Group events, fundraiser, you name it, we have a pipeline for it now.
Righteous.
That's all automated. So we're not having to do as much manual work. And what happens is you go, okay, well, I'm paying these people, but the automation's doing a lot of the work, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what it has done for us that has just, again, increased and elevated our guest experience tremendously is we've shifted the hours that they don't need to be in the office now to actually being the face of the events office on the floor on the weekend.
Yes.
So when those parties come in, they say, oh my gosh, I didn't expect to meet you. I just thought you were the party booker, right? Oh no, ma'am. I'm here to take care of you from the minute your lead comes in all the way to the checkout process to see you out the door. And then follow up on any feedback you feed our way, right?
Yeah.
So it really, when you start using automation that's as powerful as this is, it changes and you have to look at everything, right? So that's where my year and a half spiral really started with this was, okay, well, we've got this in place. Now, how do I better utilize my human resources?
Right.
And elevate the guest experience with my humans, because the automation is already elevating the guest experience for my customers on the front side of things. So it's been really interesting. And then that turned into, okay, well, if we can do more with less people, how do we make that happen, right? And we've looked at everything. I started with writing policies and procedures and revising them on chat. So I have gone through every policy and procedure that we have, every employee onboarding manual. Everything has been rewritten. And Russ, what probably would have taken me months and months to do manually is done within a matter of a couple of days using chat. So I'm still an advocate of chat because we use the premium version with, tied to our website that's brand specific. But, the other plus of this program Bookmore is that it has a centralized communications tool in it. So any messages that we get, all of our social media is interfaced with it. Our Google My Business is interfaced. It's handling all of our reputation management instantaneously. We're using it for all of our marketing, and everything is in one place. And so to have a tool that's so powerful that has so many different platforms interfaced into one place saves me a lot of time.
Yeah.
I used to spend a lot of time doing mundane tasks of, I got to go over here to Google and reply to this review, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't do that anymore. Automation does it for me automatically. It solicits reviews for us from our customers. So
Nice.
We've seen a almost 60% increase in the number of reviews that we've gotten in the last 6 months just by automation, targeting the customers who've been in and saying, hey, can you give us some feedback? How'd we do? Right.
Yeah.
And that's so important to driving your Google ranking, right? It all plays into how you rank on Google. So it's really been amazing. It's super powerful. From the guest experience, again, using human resources better to serving them better and not playing phone tag and emailing. It saves their time too.
Well, and gosh, I feel like I love all of this because we have been on this kick of talking about where are the most impactful ways that you can reduce friction in the guest experience, improve what their first impressions are, right? Like, I mean, these are just the tried and true, like Mount Rushmore of things that make and build the brand and help more people like want to come to a facility because they feel seen and things feel bespoke and tailored to what they are wanting to do. And that's incredible. I mean, that, and to then also be able to say, okay, well, like we have our established brand standards. This can do the vast majority of that heavy lifting. And not only that, it then now actually allows us to roll out the red carpet a little bit more and have that true concierge level of service and engagement when they are there. So, you know, that's one of the things that I feel like sometimes people can be like, that, you know, I don't want to lose our secret sauce, or I don't want to do this. And it's like, are you able to even put secret sauce on the sandwich at this point because your bandwidth's getting eaten up by just minutia?
Right. And so this is where the impact really is, right? It's a time saver. And the AI is so powerful, right? Like, so we use conditional logic to build workflows. And so we're able to say, okay, so like birthday party emails, they all go out automatically now. You know, they're reading kids' birthdays, they're making sure we're getting out and ahead of it. I don't have to worry about doing any of that manually anymore.
Right.
And that's been a thing that's been available for a while, right? But what hasn't been available is, instead of just sending them an email, I can then say, well, if they clicked the email, or if they opened the email and went to the website to look at our party packages, but they're not showing up in my system as a party booked yet, then let's send them a text. Hey,
Yeah.
I saw you were on the website taking a look at our birthday party packages. I'd love to answer any questions to help you make your decision, right? So what we're doing is we're being smarter about who we're reaching out to. While we are canvassing everybody who has an upcoming birthday, the people that we're focusing and drilling down on are the people that are showing us through their interaction that they are truly interested, right?
Yeah.
But again, the automation's doing it. And what it's ending up doing is putting final leads in my pipeline that we're being able to close. So yeah, it's a time saver. What it does is it makes sure nothing falls through the cracks, because like you said, we're all so busy running an FEC. And I didn't realize this, right? When David and I got into it, you're like, oh, you open a little fun house and it's going to be great and people will come, right? Well, yeah, that's how it goes. If you want to last this long, you know, there's a lot of work that goes into constantly improving your guest experience, listening to your customers, and getting in front of them with marketing. And so when I have a list of, hey, 10 of these emails need to go out this week, but now 8 of those 10 are automated based on the system's ability to know what needs to be sent.
Yeah.
And that frees up a lot of time that we focus on what matters, which is, like you said, it's the guest experience. That is what drives repeat business.
Oh, hot diggity. I love it. Okay, so let me ask you this. Change management is something that we've talked about a decent amount on this podcast. Like, as we are trying to always find, hey, what's a new foothold that we can get that's going to move the needle, and how do we make this difference? There can be hesitancy or resistance to that, you know, as people, you know, let's say for your event staff, some may have an initial reaction of, oh my gosh, this is going to take away from like what I'm doing. And it just, you know, uncertainty can lead to horrible first assumptions, and we don't know. And we're really good, as Brene Brown says, of coming up with a shitty first draft. And so what was that initial transition for the, like, you know, with you being kind of in the driver's seat of that and doing the research and understanding at the high level, hey, this is what we're actually going for. We're not using this to like say, hey, I can get rid of half of my staff and things like that. It's, I need to free them up to be more impactful. So what was that internal kind of onboarding, and, you know, were there any Dr. Phil moments where we had to really make sure that the team understood the transparency of the why behind it, as well as, you know, now that it's been implemented, you know, did it have a positive impact on just their job satisfaction, or, you know, do they feel like they're getting to tackle things that are meaningful and more significant, you know, than it was before? Like, how has that been received internally with the team?
Yeah, that's a great question, right? initially it feels overwhelming, right? Because you're trying to learn. You're like, wait, I used to reach out to the customer. That was my job. Wait, I don't have to do that? Okay, so we have to learn a new process. We have to
Mm,
understand what the automation is doing, what we still need to do, and you kind of have to iron that out, right? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. There were some moments where I do think my event coordinator was like, is she trying to put me out of a job? But what it has done, and again across the board, because I mean we're using this in so many ways. We're hiring, and I can go into all that separately, but every single manager, what it has done is it has taken away administrative um, nuances, right? That it's getting them away from their computer more and out customer facing where they like to be, right?
hmm.
They don't want to be stuck behind a computer all day. They want to go meet those people that they sold the event to. And so, yeah, while in the beginning, I do think there was a little bit of never any resistance, right? They understood how impactful and what this could do for us as a whole. I don't think we realized that it would force us to go through the entire business and look at every single aspect of it. But a little hesitation, but once they got it and they saw, oh wow, this works, and
Yeah.
it's making things better for everybody. I think there's a new level of job satisfaction that comes with using it, that it does take a little while to get there,
Hmm.
but you do get there.
Awesome. Well, and that's the name of the game, right? Is if you're not, and Cy Wakeman talks about this, like if they're going to be drug kicking and screaming into what this new evolution is going to be, like that's going to tell you a little bit of something of like, are they really the right fit for that person? Like they maybe have been, good at what they did, but ultimately, how we all make sure that this is going to be the most impactful, not only for the team members that work here, so that way we can do more and do better, but also, like you said, serve the guests better and free people up. Like that to me is some of the biggest game changer stuff of even just our own internal AI things of, oh my gosh, this would have taken me 3 hours. I now have it done in 45 minutes, like, or whatever the like, and now I feel like, okay, I have more time for my phone calls or engaging and like doing the parts that actually, are the most fulfilling for me. Personally, like that's a game changer just of job satisfaction, because now if they're looking, potentially elsewhere, but they feel like they're taking a step back into the Stone Age because they're having to go back and do all of this stuff from
Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really great from a just stickiness factor within the team. So you had
And then
mentioned
there's an employee morale thing too, right?
yeah.
That you mentioned, right? Because with that job satisfaction comes the increase in morale, because they're like, oh, all of a sudden my load is not so heavy, right?
Mm,
And that translates to I'm happier at work. And if they're happier at work, the customer senses that, right? It changes the vibe of everything.
oh,
So yeah, that's just a whole nother, people don't think about it, right? How
right.
AI impact you. But if it lightens your load and it makes you a happier person, then you're giving off better energy. Yeah.
Yeah, you get to a little bit more of have my cake and eat it too, which is a never a bad thing when
Right.
we can thread that needle. So we started with Bookmore. Are you using other like multiple platforms, or are you finding that Bookmore really has like pretty much you've been able to build it out the way that you need to through the different automations and the workflows and things like that? Like, are you stacking multiple styles of AI, or is it through that one
I
platform?
So Bookmore has AI tools integrated within it in
Mm-hmm.
each platform, right? So whether you're in the sales pipelines and in the CRM, when you are in there in these workflow, the workflows are all created, right?
Yeah.
So you're not having to build these. There are standard workflows that are pretty universal to most FECs.
Mm-hmm.
There you can build custom workflows. But no, there's no need to stack because it's all in there. So it does have a AI writing tool. So if I go in to create an email template, I can put in what I want it to say. AI will tweak it for me in my brand voice and drops it right into the email template, right? So I'm not having to bounce back and forth between AI platforms. The only one that I'm considering using, well, I haven't made a decision. There's a few of them out there. There's a lot of them now doing financial analysis,
Mm,
and I'm curious, right? I'm intrigued of what that might spit out at me.
yeah.
Um, so I'm curious, and I may do a free trial. There's a few of them out there, just to see what that looks like. That's not something that's in Bookmore, but I mean, all of our social media, all of our marketing is integrated. It all has AI tools associated with it within the platform. And like I said, now all of our customer communication is tied to that customer in the platform. So I could have been talking to somebody on Facebook before, right, through a message that they sent us on Facebook, and I'm on my phone replying to it. Um, but also I may have emailed them out of my Gmail. Bookmore tells me, hey, this is the same customer. And
Mm,
all of that communication is under their profile. So it's been fantastic for streamlining that communication. But yeah, no, I don't have to stack anything anymore. I have Russ, it even has competitor analysis in there. So on the reputation management side, here's a thing that I think most operators do. And this is a huge time saver for me. Every Monday, I would go to my competitors and I would look at their reviews for the weekend or the past week and
hmm.
see how are they doing? What's their feedback? How does it compare to our reviews? Where do we need to continue to improve to make sure that we are, drawing people here and
Sure.
winning them from over there? It takes time to plow through that. Now I click a button within Bookmore and I'm looking at my competitors' reviews in that platform. It summarizes for me with AI what they're doing better, what their feedback is. So now I don't even have to go read every single review. It gives me a summary of their reviews. So that's been a huge time saver. And then also the reputation management, we have it set up within there that if we solicit reviews from people and they click on anything that is three or below, four or below, I'm sorry, 4 stars or below, then that comes internally. We don't
Mm.
push them to leave a review. But if it's a 4 or higher, it automatically pops up the Google window and says, would you leave us a review? It's made it easy for the customer and it's made it super easy for us to manage our reputation.
Dang. I'm loving it, man. I mean, it's like holy cow, we're living in the future, but it's today.
It is today, and I don't want to go back.
Well, I was as I was putting together like questions and okay, like I want to ask her about this, I want to do that, and then one of the questions I came up with was, if you turned off AI tomorrow, what would hurt the most? But it sounds like it would be pretty catastrophic at this point, knowing what you know now and seeing all of the benefits that you've had, and especially with throughout all of the kind of appendages of the business or within the different nodes,
Oh,
like
I mean,
yikes.
right? Voice agents, right? So on our busy hours, I still, I'm a, call me old fashioned, if you will. I'm a big
As
believer
you implement AI, but sure, okay.
as I implement AI, but I strongly believe that relationships are built with people face to face, right? And voice to voice. And that the relationships are so important in your business because you're trying to earn that repeat business. And so or other avenues of business through them. So this is why I love getting my managers out of the office and doing more on the floor is we are we're talking to people more. Hey, where do you work? Oh, are you with a sports team? Oh, are you looking to raise money? Right. And we're getting to know our customers. And so what we are cutting back on the face to face is at the front desk and implementing a voice agent, but only on the weekends, right? When you have a line in front of you and I don't want to take time from my staff to pick up a phone and say, "Hey, do you mind holding?" AI is perfectly capable of answering 98% of the questions that people call in with, which is, "Hey, are you open today? Hey, where are you located? Hey, how much is it? Hey, can I bring a birthday cake?" Whatever it might be, right?
Right.
Those simple questions we have a voice agent that handles on the weekend, but I've left the person at the other end of the phone during the weekdays
Yeah.
because I do think that that's super important. I don't want to miss the opportunity to talk to somebody who might have more questions that then might lead to more business for us.
Yeah. No, that's fabulous. I mean, and that's really where, looking at the kind of positive impact, it's like, where can we surgically use this? There, in some cases it makes sense, like, hey, let's use the rocket launcher and fire it
Right.
down this thing. But there are times where we need a scalpel, right? Or
Yeah.
and so where can we very intentionally use this and learn from it and grow, and then as it continues to change and evolve.
And you
What?
have to do that, right? Because you have to prioritize it. At least we have had to prioritize it. Okay,
Sure.
where do we get the biggest return? If we're going to invest in time of building out how this works in our facility, where are we going to get the biggest return, right? And so obviously that's where the dollars are, and that's the events office, and that's and our and sales and marketing.
Yeah.
So that's where we've put it. And then yes, we have surgically said, okay, this is next, and this is next. I mentioned hiring, right? We have saved so much time by using a workflow now that filters people's applications coming in. They're available on the weekend. They're not available on the weekend. They have this personality type, so they're a good fit in this role, right? We're not having to comb through in applications. AI is telling me who's a good fit before I ever give them a call or pick up their application and take a look at it.
Mm, okay. I'm sold, done. We got to do it.
Yeah.
What would be, as we kind of get to the end here, and want, like, thank you so much for the transparency and the insights, like, fabulous, and we'll definitely have to have you come back and continue to see how it's growing and evolving for you. What someone that is, hey, we've been thinking about it, I've been on the edge, on the fence, what are some of the learning curve kind of pieces as you were first starting with it, like, that you would encourage folks, like, hey, if you're going to go down this path, like, here's some good either mindsets or vetting, and here's kind of how you crawl, walk, run with it to make sure that you're implementing it in a way that is going to be meaningful.
So I Bookmore has made leaps and bounds since I joined them as a customer 15 months ago, 16 months ago. It's been a while, right? And so they've made a lot of changes to helping people come on board and getting up and running that weren't available when I started because I was an early customer, right?
Gotcha.
So as the company has evolved, so has the onboarding. But I think what you have to look at is the thing that caught me off guard the most, right? What all I wanted to do was close party leads and increase revenue, right? I really wasn't expecting to free up time for my people. So I do say you have to look at how it may impact you in ways that you don't expect and be prepared to deal with that because, then, like I said, that opened a whole new thing. Well, I need to change the way I'm staffing and scheduling because I don't need all these people here that I once did.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't be afraid of it, right? One of my favorite quotes recently that I heard. I love Martha Stewart. I'm a huge admirer of her. I love to entertain. She's been a tremendous inspiration to me, not only as an entertainer and who she is with her television personality, but as a business owner. And so she had done a master class recently that said, you have to keep up with technology. If you do not, you will get left behind.
Mm.
And that spoke deeply to me because I kind of wasn't embracing it, right? And but once you start using it, if you cannot be afraid of it and you can try it and you can get comfortable with one little piece of it. I mean, I've gone from going on to a platform that gave me pretty much everything I needed ready to go and ready to run my operation, right? To now I go in and I build custom workflows. Russ, I am the least techie person on the planet. So for me to be able to go in and actually now build workflows specific to what I want it to do, because now I'm using it in ways in the facility that I didn't ever expect to use it, but I go, hey, I know it has this capability. So why don't I build this and it makes life easier for us, right? You
Yeah.
cannot be afraid of it. There are people out there that can help you learn it, that can help you get used to it, right? And once you do, like I said, I can't imagine ever going back.
Mm. I love it. Well, you're fully plugged into the Matrix now, so we got to get you
Oh,
a
I
cool
am.
leather jacket and the sunglasses and the
Yep.
whole
Right.
the whole 9 yards. Oh, that's awesome. Well, you already beat me to the punch. I always love to ask, like, what's a recent either podcast or something that you've come across, or a quote or anything. I love Martha Stewart, and I always just go back to old Anna Gasteyer SNL moments when I hear Martha Stewart of like, and that's a good thing, you know.
Well, let me tell you, AI, it's a good thing.
It's a good thing. That's right. Well, that is a perfect place for us, I think, to wrap. Thank you again so much for sharing. And I want to say, if those of you that are listening, if you have questions on it,
Yeah, email me.
we'll make sure to mention Laura when this gets dropped, so that way you can follow up, and you may get an initial response. You may have a custom workflow to handle podcast question follow-ups that go into her platform.
We might be able to do that. Yeah.
I love it. Well,
Russ, I really appreciate the opportunity, because I think it's something so powerful that other small business owners like myself who struggle to keep up and check every box every single day, you don't have to manually do that anymore. So to gatekeep this from people, it doesn't feel right to me. So yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone might have.
I love it. Sharing's caring.
Yeah.
For those of you that are tuning in for the weekly episodes, thank you so much. If you have ideas or more insights that you want to be able to see, hit us up on social media. We'll be more than happy to get that thrown into the mix. If we've done a good job and you've liked what you've heard, we always appreciate that 5-star review. Please and thank you. And shout out to Mikey Mike working the 1s and 2s on the Ultranet for us over here. And thank you all so much for joining us, and we'll catch you on the next one, Troublemakers.